Looks like I'm live. If you guys are in there, pop in and say hi. I got a lot of stuff done this morning. And you know what? I didn't have to water the garden because we had 7 millimeters. 7 millimeters of precipitation, which was just absolutely awesome. And so nice to get that rain. I find the garden's already perked up. Unfortunately, here's like dried apricots. If you're here, I'd give you one. So, like I say, I didn't have to water. I planted another palm tree. I noticed some of our smaller tree ferns have fried in the heat and the drought. So I planted some palms beside them, expecting those ones to probably die. The tree ferns, the Dixonias, just got too dry there. So anyway, we'll see what happens, and maybe they will perk up. Maybe a miracle will happen, and maybe they will perk up in the fall. Anyway, we're early September, and it's nice out here right now. So current temperature 17 degrees Celsius, 81% humidity. Look at the sky. Haven't seen a full gray sky in a while. So we got gray sky here over the southern Gulf Islands. And it's weird, there's a different format now before I do my live streams. Before I could actually take a thumbnail picture of myself. And now it says to upload a photo. So I just upload some random photo. So the thumbnail for this one is me sitting on the beach, Diamond Head. Oh, thanks, man. If it's Exotica, we grow it. And that's Exotica. We have a lot of Exotica here, right? That's actually Wendy's, not mine. Wendy's the one that grows that stuff. I'm the palm guy. I grow the palms. But I've been growing that stuff for a long time, too. First time I started growing that was 1978 when I was 14. So it gives you an idea how old I am. My dad came home from work and he gave me a handful of seeds. And he said, grow it, Joey, but don't do this with it. So I grew some pretty cool plants back in the day. Oh, Wendy just arrived. She's got home from work. Anyway, I went along the beach today. There's Wendy making her way through the jungle. I just started the live stream, Miss T. Just started the live stream.
I got plums at
Oh,
nice. Well, I don't know if they're ready yet.
fresh plums. These are fresh Italian prune plums.
Aren't they nice?
It's weird because some of them are so ready, and these ones are.
Yeah.
Hi, Wendy. James says hi.
Hi.
Hi, James. Italian prune plums are awesome. We got to go out soon? I went up to Fields today. I went to Fields, but it was closed.
Oh, it's open now.
Is it?
Yeah, I drove by.
I went at 10 o'clock, just after 10. Anyway, excuse me. I'm eating my lunch. I was so busy this morning. This is it. I'm eating while I'm live streaming. So we're going to head out soon. And I'm going to shoot a video of a cool thing that somebody's building down on the south end of the island. I shouldn't talk with my mouth full. On the south end of the island. He's kind of like this genius inventor type guy. He's like this doctor and kind of like scientist almost. Super smart guy. Knows what he's talking about and knows how to build super cool things. So I'm going to go down there and hopefully let me shoot a video of what he's created. But I can't disclose the location, but I know it's somewhere down on the south end of the island. Anyway, I walked along the beach today in an area about 7, 8, maybe 9 miles south of here, something like that, south east of here, right on the beach. And the tide was out quite a ways, but there's this beautiful exotic garden in that area, full of cordyline trees, palm trees, and Yucca gloriosa. So I uploaded a video of it on my other YouTube channel, a short video, but I'll give you the full meal deal on this channel, okay? So tomorrow I will upload a video of the garden on this channel. And it's pretty cool. A friend of mine I've known since I was a little kid. I used to go to elementary school with him and high school. And then he moved here to Salt Spring about 41 years ago. I think he moved to Salt Spring Island, something like that. So, but yeah, the cordyline's been in his garden for over 30 years now. And yeah, they're pretty big cordyline trees that all bloomed. And he's got lots of bananas. And like I say, lots of yuccas, front backyard cordyline trees and lots of palm trees. And like I say, right on the ocean. So an extremely mild microclimate where he lives in that area on Salt Spring Island. Anyway, like I say, the forecast here is supposed to be dry. Now we had our rain. We had 7 millimeters of rain last night. There's 7 millimeters of rain in the gauge. So 7 millimeters of rain is not a lot of rain because 12.5 millimeters is half an inch of rain. So anyway, it did do the garden wonders and everything is perked up. I find everything's happier. I'm happier, so I don't have to drag around the hose for at least one day. Maybe tomorrow I don't have to drag around it either. We'll see how warm it gets. I think tomorrow's going to get 20 or 21. So if it warms up, then it's going to evaporate. But I dug in to plant some palms. I planted another palm today and one last night. Bone dry. It only went in about this much, something like that. Just very little. Yeah, so that's probably not a good thing. Anyway, I'll sit here for a bit because I know we're going to head out soon. And if you guys are in there watching, jump in and say hi before I pull the plug here. Because I could pull the plug at any minute. See, the reason I'm doing a live stream now is because our accommodation guests are out. Okay? When the accommodation guests are out, it gives me full use of the Wi-Fi power. So there shouldn't be too many disruptions. You know what I mean? When they get on the internet, it just messes me up. But it seems like these people are not so much into the internet. We have a couple down in the lower accommodation, and we have a couple on the upper accommodation, and both of them check out tomorrow, and then more people check in. It's been nonstop busyness, craziness for Wendy. She's very busy, and like I say, she works at another accommodation down on the south end of the island, up on top of one of the mountains, and then she comes here. And if there's two checkouts, it's even crazier, right? So that's why I'm here to help her. I get home from work, or if on a weekend when they check out, I can clean stuff up for her and get it prepared. So there you go. I'm liking this temperature. It's really nice. Really, really perfect. I'm sure you had palms that just want to grow any really green but want to grow. Well, we got some palms that are over 30 years old, planted in the 1980s with about 4 feet of trunk on them, 5 feet of trunk, because they're growing in poor soil, and they were growing under 100-foot tall eucalyptus trees, and that's a bad mistake. So, well, the mistake was planting the eucalyptus trees around the palm. So I planted the palm trees first, and then I planted some seedling eucalyptus trees around them, and thinking a bad winter would probably weed out those eucalyptus trees. Well, guess what? The winters just never get bad enough here to weed out the eucalyptus trees, and they grow 100 feet tall. So when you got these massive eucalyptus trees, you got a lot of roots. Got a lot of roots in that garden, sucking the life out of everything in that garden, so it stunts the growth. So these Trachycarpus palms, although they were green, they were very bonsai. But now that we cut the eucalyptus trees down, I see them growing faster, the palm trees. The eucalyptus trees have all resprouted, so I'm going to have to take the Echo hedge trimmers and keep them clipped back. Otherwise, it's going to be doing the same thing to those palms when they, sufficient growth is added to the trunks of the stumps of the trees. So one we got coppiced, and the other ones we got pollarded. And pollard is cutting them down to a higher stump or tree trunk, and coppicing is cutting it down to ground level. And they've all regenerated tons of growth, right? So you got to keep on top, because eucalyptus trees are such fast growers, and it's amazing the growth these things can put out during a drought summer. Like we're having drought here, and I don't know where they get their water from. We live on rock. It's just beyond me where these trees get their water. I don't know, maybe they store it in the roots or something, these ukes, but pretty amazing. And you'd have to see them to believe. Well, anyway, I uploaded 2 videos so you can see what I'm talking about. I uploaded 2 videos early this morning of coppiced eucalyptus and pollard. I followed your method by spreading Iraqi seeds everywhere in the ground, and they have already. Oh, cool. Right on. That is awesome. Do you have Yes, we do. No, we have one pawpaw tree. It's not a very big one, though. It's only about yay big. And I think you probably have 2 for better pollination, right? So we have one pawpaw tree. They do like a lot of heat. And like I say, it's not a spectacular specimen, but we do have one down in the palm nursery. It's growing beside our well house, beside our pump house. Mm-hmm. I don't really care if it ever produces fruit. I just want it because it's a pawpaw tree. It's exotic. Like I said, I grow these exotic plants because I like the looks of them. Like we have a massive loquat tree here. I've never seen any fruit on it, but I've seen lots of flowers. I planted that thing 3 decades ago, and it's a big loquat tree. That's Irobotria japonica. I think they're in the rose family. So they do fruit on our coast, but this one hasn't fruited yet. And there's a lot of people that do grow loquats here. Yeah, so maybe if I can find another pawpaw tree, I will plant it next to the existing one we have, and maybe something will happen, right? I think I did shoot a video of the Pawpaw tree. I bought it at Van Dusen Botanical Gardens plant sale, exotic plant sale a few years back. We also have pineapple guavas, Feijoa Celowiana. And they're pretty hardy, Feijoas, right? So, absolute palm lover, whereabouts are you again? What was your location? And I'm guessing your palm seeds were spread in a wet spot, right? So, I just spread thousands more seed in our ravine. Oh, okay. Sunflower pawpaw. I heard pawpaw fruit is super good too. I've never tried it. I've never even seen it in the stores here, but I know it's a popular fruit in the southeastern states like Virginia and all those places over there, and native to those areas. And what strain do you? That could be banana diesel, Hawaiian. Wendy has banana diesel, Hawaiian, Sailor Sea, Sasquatch, uh, blueberry something or other. She's got a whole bunch of different ones. Yeah, and you know what, Jane? You can actually eat the flowers. I heard on the Feijoas too. And I don't know if they grow Feijoas on the islands, on the Hawaiian Islands. Maybe it's too tropical there for them. I know they grow guavas, but I don't know. Do they actually? Oh, you know what? I have seen Feijoas there. I saw them up country near Kula on Maui. I did see Feijoas there, and I also saw big loquat trees growing in this. It was an Asian garden, a Chinese garden up country near Kula, and yeah, they were definitely Feijoas there. Yeah, it's a beauty. It's a pretty good size. I'll stand beside it. I'm 5'11". See that? And you know what? It did like the rain. So Andy hits them with Miracle Grow. They are beautiful plants. You have to really appreciate the looks of those. And I know some people say, well, you shouldn't be growing that stuff. Well, who cares? It's totally legal here in Canada. And I love the looks of it. It's just so gorgeous. I expect a normal winter here. They say, yeah, so I'm expecting a lot of rain, a really rainy winter here on the islands and the south coast, right near the ocean, and maybe more snowfall inland. I think we will get some snowfall, but I don't think a lot. So that's my prediction. Minimum temperature, no colder than minus 5.5. Okay, we'll see if I'm right. Minimum temperature, no colder than minus 5.5, right? I'm just making a prediction here. And I'm going to say total snowfall here this winter. I'm going to say 7 inches for the whole winter. Let's go 8 inches. Let's go 8 inches of snowfall for the whole winter. Okay. So that's my predictions. No temperatures colder than minus 5.5 and around, you remember this, guys, and around 8 inches of snow throughout the whole winter. That's what I'm going to predict for us. Wet, heavy, crappy snow. And because I mean, we are in Canada, it just reminds us that we do live in the Great White North. We get winters without snow here. Last year it snowed, and I shoot videos of it when it snows, so you just have to look back on my videos. It was February. It was a day after they cut the eucalyptus trees down. I think it was a day after or 2 days after. So they cut them down on the 12th, and I think it snowed on the 14th on Valentine's Day. They do put out beautiful colors. Yes, they do. They're pretty amazing plants and very useful too, and medicinally, right? So I'm glad it's legal here. And seriously, I don't do this. I don't do any of that with it. I just grow it because she grows it because it's a beautiful plant. Mm-hmm. Neither of us do that. We're just exotic gardeners, and we appreciate all exotic plants. Okay, so let's try one of these plums now. They're pretty hard. I don't know. I don't think they're quite ready yet. Mm-hmm. She's got, like I see, a bunch of that stuff there. There's a bunch of stuff that's gone to flower too. So we got a few people in there, and I'll do the stream until Wendy drags me away and I have to go for a drive. I have to go for a drive down to the south end and visit our wonderful friends. And well, nothing's really that far on Salt Spring Island, to tell you the truth. For those of you that don't know about Salt Spring Island, we are located in the North Pacific, okay? In the Southern Gulf Island chain off the extreme southwest coast of British Columbia. So people ask, whereabouts are you? That's where we are, off the extreme southwest coast of British Columbia. In the same island chain, in the same archipelago, is Washington State, San Juan Islands. Imaginary line separates us. Same island chain, same vegetation, everything. Even the same weather patterns. We're in a rain shadow, right? I don't know who's more in a rain shadow, but we're definitely in a rain shadow. You know what you should hit them with, Ben? 5-15-5 transplanter liquid. Root booster, transplanter liquid, and keep them watered. The key is to keep them watered well. Now, they'll go into more shock if you dig them out from another spot and relocate them. From a pot to the ground, it shouldn't be that bad because you're not really disturbing, you're not really damaging the roots. But if you're digging a palm out, there's going to be some root damage, right? Unless you have a massive machine and you can dig the whole root ball out without damaging any of it, then it's not going to be a problem. But if you're hand digging a palm out from one spot to another, first of all, this is what I do. I've been hired to move a lot of palm trees on Salt Spring over the years. I've planted tons of palm trees for people, big ones. And the big ones, I use an excavator and a crane truck. So the key is when you're going to move a palm tree, prepare the hole where it's going to go to, okay? I always have the planting hole prepared. So there's less stress put on that palm tree sitting out of the hole. So before you dig it out, water it down. If it's dry, really water down the root ball system. And then water it in with some 5-15-5 transplanter liquid. That's what I've always done. All right? And then do a nice little perimeter cut around it. And try to take as big a root ball as you can manage. And they're not that deep. Palm roots aren't so deep, right? Then when you dig it out, wrap the root ball in a tarp. Keep it moist if you're doing it on a dry day in the spring or summer. And have your new hole prepared. Put some topsoil in the bottom, backfill it with some nice topsoil. Have some pile of soil beside it. Soak her down. Keep it wet. Get that palm to your new hole. Put it in the hole. Water it down. Backfill it with your soil and keep it moist, and then water it in with your transplanter liquid. That's what you do. Biggest Mediterranean fan palm in our area, on our island, that I've seen is about 10 feet wide and about 8 feet tall. Something like that, about 8 feet tall and about 10 feet wide or so. And it was planted just about 3 decades ago. There's actually 2 of them in that same garden, and there's a lot of other ones around as well. But that's about the biggest one I've seen, which reminds me, I have to go check the seeds. I need some local seeds. So unfortunately, the squirrels or the rats get them before I can get to them, right? So I have to go check them for seeds. And if there's some seeds, I'm going to be growing some local Mediterranean fan palms. I've grown a bunch of seed brought to me from St. George, Utah. And I got some growing in the garden. They're actually doing very well, the ones from St. George, Utah. And we have a lot of Mediterranean fan palms in our garden. I like them. The first ones I ever planted were back in the 1980s. And my ex, I remember she showed up where I used to work with 2 15-gallon Camarops palms and dropped them off where I worked. So, of course, I had to load them up into my truck and bring them home. And she got them on sale. They were pretty nice-sized palms. And put them in the ground. And one behind my house in a sheltered spot. This is where I used to live, near south of Vancouver. And then one in the open. And the one behind my house was in very sandy type soil, very well draining, sheltered from cold winds, because we used to get a lot of cold winter winds out there in 8A, 8B. I put a piece of cardboard around it for the winter. Like, you know, when you buy like a washer or a dryer or a fridge and you get the cardboard that's over top of it, well, I cut that down, put it over top of it. The palm was, you know, pretty good size to the top of it. Nice trunk, nice fat trunk. And I put a piece of plexiglass on top. No artificial heat. So we had this bad winter. It was the winter of 1989. It was early February 1989. And temperatures dropped down to minus 12 degrees Celsius or so, which is 10 degrees Fahrenheit. A little bit lower, maybe, just a little tad bit lower. And the one in the front of the house, which wasn't protected, was told, well, look at you, little Mrs. Fancy Pants Mancy. So the one in the front of the house froze to the ground, completely froze to the ground. Main trunk killed, all the suckers killed. And the one in the back of the house had only superficial frost burn to the tips of the fronds. And no, I know how cold it was. I remember how cold it was. It was minus 14.8 degrees Celsius. Minus 12 was another time. So minus 14.8 degrees Celsius is around 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit. I think something like that. It was really cold. And thank God I put the cardboard around it because it protected the one at the back of the house from the wind. So the other one had the full brunt of the cold outflow winds and the cold temperatures. So it froze to the ground. So anyway, and it was featured in HPI. I mean, I featured them in HPI, Hardy Palm International, years ago because I used to do articles for it in the Palm Society. And the one in the front of the house that froze to the ground actually all regrew again. It all resprouted back again. The main trunk never did. But the suckers all came back and it grew into this bushy little palm. I also had one in a pot and I put it under the overhang of the house, kind of like we had this foyer, but it was outside and all open. And I wrapped a big quilt-like blanket around the pot because I didn't want the pot to freeze. Top of the palm totally exposed but kept dry. It totally defoliated, completely defoliated. But guess what? Chamaerops humilis are very hardy palm trees, especially if you can keep them dry. And the ones here don't seem to be bothered too much. The winter wetness here doesn't seem to bother them here in the Gulf Islands because our temperatures never get cold enough to bother them. So, maybe if we have a record-breaking cold, it might bother them. But since I've lived here, there's been no really record-breaking cold. And, we'll have to see. Only time will tell. But we have a lot of Mediterranean fan palms in our garden. And they're one of my favorite palm trees. I like the looks of them actually probably more than Trachycarpus. And I've seen some big ones too. I've seen some big Mediterranean fan palms in Southern California, but also in Hawaii on Maui. And there's some at the Honolulu Zoo on Oahu, but on Maui you can go to in South Kihei Road. And I'm looking at these two palm trees one time. This was quite a few years ago. We go to Maui every year, except for the last year or two. And I'm looking at these palm trees when he was in doing some shopping. I says, man, those look like Trachycarpus palms. They had like 20 feet of trunk on them. Well, they were Chamaerops. Chamaerops palms with 20 feet of trunk on them growing on Maui. And the nice thing about Chamaerops humilis, they can actually grow in a tropical climate too, and they seem to do quite well. Is where Trachycarpus fortunei, honestly, I've never, ever seen a Trachycarpus fortunei on any, like the Hawaiian Islands I've been to, Oahu and Maui, ever run into a Trachycarpus fortunei. And, I've visited Lion Arboretum many times, the Arboretum up on the Manoa Hills on the island of Oahu, and they grow probably 600 different species of palm trees there. And know how much cold can they take? Well, the coldest I take was 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And like I say, the covered one survived with no damage really, but the uncovered one froze to the ground. Chamaerops are beautiful. And actually, I'm going to upload a video later of a couple of our smaller Chamaerops. We have a lot of them, and I mean, I don't know, we have a dozen or so or more in the garden. And they're just, what I like about them, they're very drought tolerant. And it's not so much the cold here I worry about. It's drought in the summertime that really affects a lot of our plants, right? And Chamaerops is an extremely super drought tolerant palm, which makes it very durable for our climate. Anyway, I really want to try one of these plums, but they just seem so frickin' rock hard. Little tart. Little tart. Little green. Anyway, Chamaerops you can usually buy in Home Depot. Home Depot can sell them in the spring. And we have also Chamaerops humilis cerifera. I also grew some volcano from seed. I forget where I put them, though. They're in the garden. I don't even remember where I have them growing in the garden, but we have and they're small. I mean, they're just little babies, but they're in the garden somewhere, and I really lose track of what we have in this garden sometimes because it's not a small garden. It's a big garden, and all I know is when you walk through the garden, you're going to see a lot of sad plants that don't like the drought. Those are the ones we're going to rip out and replace with more drought-tolerant plants, maybe more Chamaerops. Trachycarpus are pretty hardy to the drought when they're established. So absolute palm lover, plant more Chamaerops. And check out Home Depot in the spring because they usually have them for around $40 or so, 2-gallon size Chamaerops. And other people, like to call them European fan palms, which they're the only palm native to Europe. And I like to call them a Mediterranean fan palm. They're awesome, just like I love needle palms. Hey, Palm Planet, good to see you in there. It's a beautiful day here today, and the sun's going to come out again, but it is cloudy. It's a cloudy day on Salt Spring Island. Mm-hmm. And we had 7 millimeters of rain. Sounds like I'm listening. Sounds like somebody's pulling into Wendy's gallery. She's got an art gallery, but she's closed today. Hey, Wendy, I think you got somebody pulling into your art gallery. Here in Greece, we don't have Home Depot. I can purchase. Okay, well, that's cool. We don't have any Home Depot here either on our island. Okay, we have to go over to Vancouver Island. Oh, cool. Well, you're lucky, Palm Planet. We had somebody just pulled in. Unfortunately, they're going to get out of their car and it's going to say closed on the art gallery gate. I'm listening. The gallery is located about 100 feet or so away from here. The parking lot might be 200 feet away. We're on a gallery tour. Wendy's Gallery 59. No. How much, Smitty? But I know about that palm. It's native to the mountains of Taiwan. I'll tell you what we do grow from Taiwan. We have 2 Schefflera Taiwanese Anna in our garden. So that's a nice thing about Taiwan. They got these mountains, and you get up there, and I've always known about Arenga anglerii, and they claim it's a pretty hardy palm, but how hardy is it? How much cold can that palm handle? Got a Livistona today. Oh, cool. We have a Livistona, right? I don't know if you can see it. I'll show you. We have some in the ground too, but oh, yeah, there's a Livistona right there. That one got fried in the heat, but that's one Livistona. And I like Livistona too. Livistona are actually pretty beautiful palms. And the nice thing about Livistona, they sell them at a lot of box stores. I wonder. The only problem is, Hamish, it's colder down there because it's in this deep ravine. So temperatures can probably, be several degrees colder down in that deep ravine. So that's the only thing that would concern me. Trachycarpus really don't have a problem down there. I got Petasites japonicus, giganteum, whatever you want to call it. And then we also have swamp cypress and lots of bamboo growing down there too. But Arenga anglerii, I might go down and where the nursery is. 12 pounds. Is that 12 pounds? When I see an L in front of it, is that 12 pounds? I'm not exactly sure how much a pound works out to. Is it like double the Canadian dollar or 1.5 the American dollar, something like that? Something like that. Okay, not bad. So, yeah, you know what? Of the UK, Livistona will work quite well, especially sheltered areas of London. And if you get down onto the south coast where my daughter used to live, she was down in Cornwall, and then she lived in Taunton near Devon, right? So $17 is cheap. And usually you get a whole cluster of them in a pot. They like to put a whole bunch of them in a pot to make it look a little bit more bushy. And sometimes you can separate them. Oh, here comes the sun. It's starting to come out. I don't know if that's a good thing, though. I actually want more rain. And I love the temperature right now. It's just like, oh, it's so nice out here. $17, you say? Well, it's 17 degrees Celsius here. So that's perfect. It's just this temperature is just so perfect for me right now. I don't want it any hotter than this today. I want it to rain all next week. But unfortunately, it's not going to do that. Nobody sells Arenga anglerii up here. That's the problem. They have to be grown from seed. And at my age, I don't know if I really want to wait for it to grow. At 57 years old, it'd be nice to get something bigger, just like that Parajubea torelli I got from a friend. And it's a nice size Parajubea. So let's pray that it survives the winter, right? We're going to find out. It'll make for a good video anyway if it doesn't. Temps going up to 26 today, UK. Yeah, you had a crap summer. Yeah, no, our summer has been dry and hot. And we'll be in the 20s again next week. 23s, I think 23s next week, something like that. Looks pretty consistent across the board. And low temps, 12, 13, something like that. This morning was, what were we this morning? 13.7. It was pretty much yesterday. 30. I think that's what yesterday too. So not so bad. You have ever tried grow those? I have Kensha. Yeah, we have Kensha Palms. Had them since the 1990s. We have big ones in 20-gallon pots out front of the B&B. Anyway, it got burnt up pretty bad in the heat at the end of June, so I cut a bunch of the fronds off of it. And yeah, it's recovering, but they're slow to recover. They're a pretty slow grower, the Kensha. How are you? Nice palms. And yeah, it's a shame it got burnt. I wish I would have moved it to shade. It was growing in more sun, and it got burnt up pretty bad. Can't legally buy Chinese moon milk. Oh, really? That's funny because when I was shipping, I shipped a lot of seedlings over the years to Florida. And the last time I tried shipping Trachycarpus seedlings and seed to Florida, they confiscated them. And then they sent me a little letter and they says, no more, cannot ship those to Florida. So I guess there's some disease or something down there in Florida. Here, there's no pests or diseases that bother palm trees. Nothing. So we can grow whatever we want up here. So anybody can ship me palm seeds this way, and I can grow them. And if they work outside, we'll plant them outside. So I'm not really into house palms. I don't grow any house palms. Oh, they're pests in New Zealand, eh? Wow. Yeah, they're becoming that way in the southern Switzerland too. They've naturalized all over in Locarno and Lugano, Switzerland. They've been growing them there for a couple hundred years, I guess, and they're just everywhere in the southern parts of Switzerland, like in the forests and everywhere. And here it might become like that too, because they do natural apparent plants. They'll grow like weeds. I've seen them under groves where there's thousands of seedlings that have naturalized. Palms growing everywhere, but might take a few more years before they're growing all throughout the forest without me spreading seeds. But New Zealand has a beautiful climate. It's like so perfect there. Everything grows in New Zealand, especially up in the North Island, right, where it's really subtropical like. And I guess you get down into Dunedin and Invercargill on the south end, and yeah, they're Phoenix down there, but it can get colder. It gets colder down in southern New Zealand. So I guess the northeastern Ohio people are born delusional. So did you see the guy's post palm? Looks like it might have some Winston in it too. Oh, yes, sir, here. Arrived, and it's screwing up my connection. Yeah, Dunedin might be similar to Thessaloniki. Yeah, that's cool. Greece would be cool. My relatives live in southern Italy, right? Down in the south. There's a lot of palm trees in Greece and some beautiful palm trees in Greece. Lots of um, lots of phoenix palms. I think dactylifera. I don't think there's a lot of canariensis there, but lots of dactylifera and lots of filifera. So I'll go for a few more minutes if my stream doesn't cut out on me, because I do actually have to go. I have to go visit our friends down on the south end. So, do you get snow there sometime, absolute palm lover? I guess Andy wants to go. We have to get out of here. All right. See you guys are awesome. And I will try streaming again tomorrow or maybe even later on today. I'm going to go shoot a video of something really cool my friend is building down on the south end. So stay tuned for video. I'll probably upload it on my other channel. Cheers to you all. You guys are awesome. Enjoy the day.